All right. Well, today on Fitfoot U, I have the pleasure of having a very Renaissance man and just right brain thinker, artistic, athletic, um, and a real human being, just a real caring human being. And he goes in a lot of different directions, but tonight he's going to share with us his thoughts on some of the challenges he's overcome, his budding film career, his some of his takes on life, and how he's managing his health. So Vernon, we met through randomly enough in a doctor office visit relationship, but then we found that we shared a love for comedy and some stuff on the side, and then we got that connection, and then I got to know you a little bit better, and now here we are. I want to start with and then welcome. What is the biggest challenge that you've faced either before the NFL or in the NFL, and how did you overcome it? You came a long way to get to the top.
Yeah, I think my biggest challenge is being able to find myself in terms of becoming a leader for the team, because you find that when young guys come into the league, like whether it's NFL, NBA, or what have you, they enter and they don't have everything that they fully need to be equipped with when it comes to leadership and just knowing what to do. So I had to find myself. I was getting penalized, and my coach saw it, Mike Singletary at the time, and he made an example out of me. And I get it. When that happened, I didn't quite understand where he was coming from with his actions. But once, as I got older and as time continued to go by, I learned a lot from the situation. I said, hey, I'm going to put my teammates first. I'm going to make sure that I show up on time. I'm going to be super benevolent when it comes to the guys that are in this locker room, the guys that I'm playing with, right? I'm just going to always take care of them and make sure that they have what they need, and just, maintain a great level of humility. And that's what I had to do. That's what I was faced with.
Was there a particular situation that you can think of, or a couple examples where transcending to that next level that Coach Singletary got you to shine through in a game, either a game situation or a life situation?
Yeah, so the example that I can use is the example of when I got penalized. I hit this guy under his face mask, and we were losing. So in order and once I got penalized, coach sent me to the locker room right then and there. I walked to the sideline. He sent me to the locker room, and I get it. I understand. Like if I'm doing that, I'm putting my guys in a position to lose this game, right? And you don't want to do that. You do not want to do that, because you're being selfish. And I wasn't a selfish guy. It was just my behavior. I wasn't thinking. It was the lack of experience, the lack of wisdom. I didn't have it. So I had to really lean on this guy, which was Coach Singletary, to really show me the way and be everything that I needed to get over the hump. And I listened. Listening is key. As long as you're able to listen and pay attention and know that you need to change something, and you actually do it, sky's the limit.
Have you made some changes like after the NFL, and what were maybe some of the changes you made during the NFL from listening?
Yeah, I made a lot of changes, and after I made those changes, and those changes being putting my teammates, like I said before, putting my teammates first, making sure I'm showing up on time, and also doing the necessary things that I need to do whenever guys needed me, right? Like answering questions and just showing them how to do certain things and working with them. Once I did that, my career started to take off. I started achieving an ample amount of success so fast. It was amazing to see. And I knew it was only because I switched my mindset, I switched my behavior, my attitude, and I was starting to become everything that I ultimately was supposed to be, right?
Tell me a little bit about some of the injuries that you overcame, either through college, high school. I know you went here local to Dunbar High School. What was that process like? Because I call this show Fit Foot You. And so one of the things that I try to encourage is to give people sort of examples of how people have overcome, a setback. And I know you've had concussions in the NFL, but maybe some of the other things along the way that that you were able to overcome.
Yeah, life is like a roller coaster. The ebb and flows, like my coach used to say all the time, Coach Singletary. He used to say that the game of football has so much. There was a lot of ebb and flows in the game of football, right? And he was right, and that's how life is. It's always up and down, up and down. You give and take. There's so many different things that happen. So my second year in the NFL was really one of the darkest. It was a dark moment for me because I was trying to find my lane. I was trying to find my way. And then that second year came around, I was having a great season. So I was taking off. I was having a good start to the season. And all of a sudden, I suffered a catastrophic injury to my fibula. I cracked my fibula and I was out for 8 weeks. And for me, that was a huge setback because I was trying to prove myself. I spent so many years. I mean, this was like the biggest dream of my life that came true. Right? I always dreamed about making it to the professional level. I made it. Now I have to prove myself. And the media was calling me a bust. They were saying that I wasn't going to live up to my expectations. So I was like, there was so many different things going through my head. Something was telling me to give up. And then I had something else in my head telling me to keep pressing forward. So I had to really rely on my faith and trust the process. Whenever you get you face a dark moment, always trust the process and know that everything is going to work out the way it needs to.
Tell me a little bit about some of the things that you've discovered about your health, because we've talked about that a little bit post NFL. Maybe well, I'll first let you share things that you found out about your health after the NFL and things you're doing about it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because as an athlete, we know the importance of protein, recovery, and all of those things, right? You find that out along the way. As you get older, you start to really, especially if you're a pro, you definitely, one thing I've seen my teammates do, and also it was something I really focused on and I made it like a point to really make sure that I was consuming the right nutrients and having the right diet that I need to have to really help me go above and beyond. I mean, because it's important. You want to make sure recovery is extremely important. Like you having that protein in those with the post-recovery shakes and all of that goes a long way, because the faster you can turn around and get ready for tomorrow, that's what it's about. But then I found, like, after I retired, went for my checkup, and the doctor told me that my creatine levels were too high because of the protein, the ample amounts of protein that I was consuming over the years. So I started to think, I was like, wow, do you really have to have that much protein to recover? How much protein do you actually need? There's a lot of information out there that says you do need protein to recover, and there's a lot that says you don't need protein to recover. Maybe you can rely on the healthy fats that you're getting from the avocados and the olive oils and the almonds, right? It's just, maybe it's true. Maybe if I went that route, maybe I wouldn't have the problems that I have with my creatine levels being so high. There's all kinds of factors in it, but I made a decision to decrease the amount of protein that I'm consuming. Also, came up with a solution just to help me have a healthier life, which is fresh garlic, ginger, cinnamon stick, and a lemon. I boil that 3 times a week, and I drink it. I'll boil up to a cup and a half, and it'll be reduced to a cup. And it's been like the best thing for me. It's been awesome. I went back to the doctor, and they were telling me, like, hey, what have you been doing? Your cholesterol and your creatine levels, everything is on point. Like, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I was like, oh, okay, this is actually working for me. So from there, I just started removing animal products out of my diet and just pretty much practicing a healthy and active lifestyle.
That's fantastic. You were telling me also you've partaking in some intermittent fasting. Tell me a little bit about what got you interested in that and how what you've found in terms of your energy level and health with that and how you do it, because it means so many different things to so many different people when you say intermittent fasting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because I was always taught, my experience has always been to make sure that I'm eating before I worked out, right? And it took a little bit of time because I remember the first week when I tried to work out without eating first, it was brutal, man. It was so brutal. I felt weak. I was anxious. I was like, gosh, I need some food. I need something. So after I got by that first week, oh, it was like, I felt the same way I did as if I had breakfast or I had a bagel or something like that. I felt great. I had energy. My energy levels were high, and I didn't miss a beat. It was amazing. I was like, hey, if I can do this, then maybe I can really, really, really cut back on some of the things that I consume from throughout the day, like as far as my diet, cutting out the animal products and giving my digestive system an opportunity to have a break, in a sense. I feel like everything we do, especially if it's working, like if it has to do with the movement, you know, like our body, our muscles, and our reproductive systems, our you know, our digestion, everything. It's just sometimes you have to give it a break, right? It's just like if you're working out and you're working out for 24 hours in one day, you're going to get exhausted. You're going to have to take a break. So I feel like your body is the same way. You have to take a break every once in a while, and that's what I've been focusing on lately.
I like it, and I've adopted it during the work week. I want to tell you, and that was in part because of conversations with you, and I have some friends that do nutrition that I've talked to, and so I thought I'd do it in my own way. I had a case this morning, so I wanted to be kind of focused. So I did not do it today, just because I'm so used to processing and you know, especially during a surgery, I wanted to make sure you know, had a little oatmeal or something. But
Mm-hmm.
I find that I don't miss it much, you know, especially during the week. And then the only thing that I find, and I don't know if you've taken it to, I guess you have, because I know you told me you do your workouts in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I would respond with the fast and then try to play like I play this pickup game, hour and a half of soccer. It's a lot of running around. What's the longest you've gone with like a heavy athletic load and without having some calories prior to the either the workout or the game? Or have you had that situation where that's been, you know, you've noticed a deficit, or you're doing your workout now with the intermittent fast and it's flowing?
Yeah, it's flowing. As long as I have my healthy fats, I'm good. You know, I have
Good.
my almonds and my olive oil. I feel good. I don't have any decrease in energy. I'm ready to go. Nothing's really changing. It's all confidence and knowing that you're doing the right thing and you're moving in the right direction.
I'm going to change gears here a little bit. I came up with a little short list, and this is kind of a free association thing. You're a right brain thinker. If you don't want to comment on something, just say pass. I'm not going to have any political figures, but just give me either a few words or a few sentences or some thoughts, and I'm just going to, you know, belt them out here. So the first one I got on the list is Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, best receiver to ever play the game.
Okay. Mike Singletary. You talked about him a
Mike,
little bit already.
yeah, Mike Singletary is probably the most intense guy I've ever met.
Alden Smith.
One of the best players I've ever faced.
Dunbar High School.
Dunbar High School was a school that I went to, my high school that I went to and played football at.
Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman was probably, during my time in the NFL, he was one of the best corners in the game.
Okay. We've heard a lot about in the press about this guy lately, and you had a magic connection with him. Alex Smith.
Alex Smith is the most resilient man on earth.
Okay. What do you think makes that resiliency? What makes him tick, do you think?
I think he really wants to succeed more than anything. he wants to. That's what he wants. I mean, if he's down, he's going to keep fighting until he's back up. I watched him in San Francisco. I watched him go from San Francisco to Kansas, have tons of success. And then he left Kansas, went over to the Washington Red football team, and he's still doing it. He's still doing it. He had a really catastrophic injury that he had to face. And if you look at him now, he's back, and he looked like he didn't lose a step at all.
Okay, and then for those that, well, the catch 3.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that.
The catch 3. That's one of the most significant plays in 49ers history. It was a play that was thrown to me by Alex Smith. It was our first time in the playoffs. We sealed the game. We came back. It was one of those games where if you were watching, you wouldn't have believed if someone told you we were going to win that game. You would have asked the question. You're like, how are they going to win this game? We came all the way from behind, and we had the drive of a lifetime. I mean, we drove the ball all the way down, and we ended up scoring with a few seconds left on the clock.
Okay. Your grandfather.
My grandfather was one of the most integral pieces in my life, and he was my hero.
What do you think that he gave you, Vernon, your grandfather? Because you talk a lot about him.
He gave me advice. He gave me mentorship. He gave me the formula of how to become a man, how to treat a woman, how to protect your family. He was just everything that I needed at that time or any time. You know, he was just always there, and he showed me the way.
Okay. I got one more. Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders, best cornerback to ever play the game.
Okay. So tell us a little bit. I know you've mentioned to me you've done some films that are going to be coming out. One of them sounds exciting to me because I like to ski, and even though it's not skiing primarily, it's got snowmobiles and an arc with all kinds of things. Red Winter. Tell me some of your other things that you have that you're looking forward to, participating in.
Yeah, there's a dancing movie that I created with this lady named Arlene Levine in Los Angeles. She's a wonderful producer. She's very creative. I pitched her an idea for a feature film, and she loved it. We sat down and we started writing. I mean, instantly. And we didn't stop. We did it over the last 2 months, and we came up with the final product, which we're putting into a script format. And we're going to go out, seek funding, and make the movie. I'm excited about that because this story will make you'll lose your breath watching this story because it's so exciting. There's so much in this story, so many moving components in this movie that'll allow you to see, to really feel it. And that's what I love about it. So excited about that, excited about Red Winter. Message from Brianna is a really powerful film that I just finished, an independent film. I had a chance to star in the movie as well, and I'm excited about this one. We just released the trailer, so if you follow me on Instagram at Vernon Davis 85, you can see the trailer, some of it. I actually posted it on my feed the other day, so check it out. Let me know what you think. Feel free to repost it and follow the movement.
Cool. So on the same wavelength, you've also been involved in some sustainability movements. Tell me a little bit about some of the ones that you're most excited about.
Yeah, the one that I'm most excited about is Riff Cold Brew Coffee. A lot of people don't know that once coffee is born, once it comes out, it's in this fruit. It has a little fruit. This fruit, I want to say, yeah, it's inside of a fruit. And coffee is pretty much a fruit. They take the bean out, and then you have the fruit. What happens is they throw the fruit away. And it's so toxic that it pollutes the environment, the ocean, the air, you name it. So they found out a way to use this fruit and turn it into a beverage, which is Riff's alter ego. It's a really tasty drink. You can taste the hints of coffee and the fruit that's embedded in this product. So I love it. I think the story behind it means so much more. It's so powerful. Not only are you do we have a beverage, but we are making a difference in this world. And those are the kind of products that I love investing in and being a part of because of it's mission driven and what it stands for. Amazing.
Is that a fairly low glucose profile, that drink, Vernon?
Yeah, it's natural, high energy beverage that people can drink on a daily basis, and you don't have the sugar that you get in like a Red Bull or any other fruit juice drink that you're putting into your body. But it's awesome. It's natural, and if you need some energy, this is the drink of choice, I believe, in my opinion.
Tell me about the plastic bottle campaign, that company that you're interested in, that you've put some investments in. Talk about that.
Yeah, Pathwater. Pathwater is aluminum bottles. So Pathwater's mission is it's also mission driven. They're geared up to get rid of single-use plastic water bottles, right? They encourage you to refill, not landfill. We know everything that's going on. We see what San Francisco just did with when they banned plastic because of what it was doing in the ocean. So yeah, just like Riff, Pathwater is making the world a better place, eliminating plastic water bottles, and now you can use aluminum that has BPA-free liner in it, which is good for people to know, because a lot of people want to know, is the water actually touching the aluminum? No, it's not. It has a protection barrier in there so that the water is safe and it doesn't get contaminated, and you can drink water without having lead in your body. So it's pretty cool. I love the product. I think they're gonna really make an impact on this world.
Talk to me a little bit about, I know they're very important to you, your children, and what you've done to sort of promote sports. I mean, it must be a little different having their dad as a pro athlete, and I don't know if that's, I guess your kids are young enough where they don't feel like they have any mantle to fill. But tell me a little bit about how your sort of psychology with introducing sports to your kids.
Yeah, my psychology with introducing sports to my kids, I let them do what they want to do. You know, they know my career and they know what I did for a living, and but to me, it's all about them. You know, if I'll support them in anything that they want to do, if it's soccer, if it's lacrosse, curling, you name it. They want to go, just go to school. You know, be I don't know, a podiatrist or an attorney. You know, I'll let them do it. I'll support it, because anything that they do, I'm sure they're going to put their all into it. So I'm all about that.
Tell me maybe some of the most surprising things that's happened, because you've had a storied life with Hollywood, with the NFL, with getting a chance to be in the Super Bowl. Do you got any interesting stories that that you might want to share that people might find interesting?
Along my journey, I feel like being a part of the United States curling team has been a true inspiration in my life, because I never imagined that I'll be pursuing the sport of curling, which is a pretty amazing sport. They won a gold medal 5 years ago in Pyeongchang, and I had an opportunity to go there to support those guys. I've been supporting them the last 12 years since I've been playing ball. It's been amazing, man. Some of the experiences and places I've been able to go, enjoying the Olympics, and just being a part of everything that the Olympics has to offer. So that's been great. And the people I've been able to meet. Life is all about the people that we meet, the good people you have in your life, in your corner, because we all need help, and it's okay. Because if you need something, or you have something and you need to lean on someone, that can get you over the hump and allow you to go on in life and live comfortably. So that's been great. The journey has been amazing.
You remind me of another thing that I wanted to kind of get your take on. I had another Olympian, a swimmer. His name is Gary Hall, and he said in the interview I did with him that what he felt separated the creme de la creme of sports was how they manage pressure. So how did you, throughout your performance, because that's what you were doing, and I guess it was the same when you were recently in Dancing with the Stars, you got to manage pressure because that's a different sort of pressure. It's a choreographed routine versus, how you're going to, manage to get around the defensive back. But what were some of the mental steps that you took? I know you talked about visualization. I know that's very
Yeah.
big in sports. What are some of the things, though, that you did specifically that helped you manage pressure to kind of detune?
Yeah. So pressure is pretty much someone being overwhelmed, someone just feeling like they have so much on their back, and they start to second guess themselves, like, how am I going to pull this off? How am I going to do this? But most cases, everything that we think of inside our mind, especially if it's negative, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So I learned to embrace the pressure, embrace the negative thoughts, and breathe. Breathing is everything. Because if you breathe, you put yourself in a relaxed state and you're able to go out and perform and do whatever it is that you're doing, because you're always going to get those negative thoughts and ideas in your mind. But the key is to just fight it, face it. You face your fears, it'll disappear. We hear that all the time. We heard that as little kids growing up. Anytime you face your fears, they'll always disappear, and it's true. But you have to be willing to stand up and not let it defeat you. You can't let it defeat you, because the moment you let it defeat you is the moment you'll fall off. Like you'll give in to what that fear wants you to do. You know what I mean? So that's how I've always looked at it throughout my life and throughout my career, is just embracing it all.
Is there anything else, because I think that's good advice for somebody coming up in sports, that you would tell a young athlete, maybe mistakes that you've made that you could say, boy, if Vernon Davis was looking at Vernon Davis now was looking at Vernon Davis, the 21, 22-year-old, this is what I would tell him. What would you tell a young athlete, maybe watch out with this with an agent, or whatever it be, whether it be who you're hanging with, whatever realm?
I would say to my younger self, would say, look, what you know will help you. What you don't know will hurt you. Live as if you'll die tomorrow. Learn as if you'll live forever. Meaning, always continue to learn and know what it is that you're doing. If you're doing something, know about it. Like if you're a doctor, know everything about what a doctor is supposed to do. Know how to be in compliant. You know what I mean? You want to know all of those things. If you have money, know how to deal with your money. You know what I mean? Know how to just knowing is everything. You always want to continue to educate yourself. And if you do that, you'll minimize the amount of mistakes that you're probably going to run into. So just take your time, be patient, always try your best to identify people and understand them and know what they're about, because a lot of people have motives and they want this and they want that. So just surrounding yourself with good, positive minded people that are there for you and that will continue to help you, and just good people that you can have in your corner that don't want anything but for you to be a successful individual.
That's good stuff. Hey, I want to see if anybody has any questions for Vernon. You can kind of either put them on the chat box, or I can pass them along. Vernon, is there anything else project-wise that you have coming up, whether it be movies or elsewise, that you're doing, while I see if there's any other thoughts out there?
Yeah, there's a movie that I have coming up in January, mid-January, called Chariot. That's a good film that I'm excited about. It's for me to play a character who has so many different things going on. He's super weird. He's dark. He's twitchy. I mean, he's doing it all. So this is going to be a challenge for me, but I'm going to pull it off.
Where's this character set? Like, where's this character live?
He lives in Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I look forward to that, and I look forward to doing eventually another comedy spot. That was a good connection.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: when you retired, obviously some of it had to do with concussions and also looking at other things besides football. was there one moment that you said, this is time for me, or was it just a culminating series of things?
When I retired, I just knew I was ready. I felt like I wanted to go do something else. I wanted to move on to the next chapter of my life. And, I had multiple concussions, and I felt like the time couldn't be a better time for me to move on and go try something different and just go on with my life, because football is just a small portion of your life. So if you think about it, most guys, in most cases, you play football from what, junior high school to high school, and then you're done, right? If you're lucky and you make it to the pros, the average career is 2 years. So you play now, that's 3, 4, 6, that's like 6, 7 years of your life. I mean, you got the next 70, 80 years to live. So everything that you do here is just setting you up for what's to come. All of your better days are in the future. So
What I will tell you, and I hear it from you, that people that have been successful outside of sports and not just had this like downward trajectory are ones that have already been thinking about other pursuits while they played football. And it sounds like, you're an artistic type, and so that's good. And I think it's exciting that you can go in so many directions and kind of continue to find your passion. I did have a question about how you're managing, and you already mentioned a couple, but your blood testing levels or any other parameters that you measure, blood pressure, could be anything for your health. What is it that you do on a regular basis routinely currently?
I boil fresh garlic, ginger, cinnamon sticks, and a lemon. I do that on a weekly basis.
How do you monitor your status though? You get the creatinine, you get the cholesterol. How you get that, like every 6 months, or how are you doing? Because you mentioned you had some.
Yeah, well, lately I've been going every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, checking in on it. Just checking every 3 months, seeing what it looks like with my levels and everything, where they are.
There's a lot of different nutrition paths. How have you kind of foraged through the internet, and I'm sure you had access to some of the best nutritionists and so forth. Well, maybe not, because you're telling me about the protein issue that you had, but
Yeah.
that was a means to an end. They got you so that you could, plow off the line and jump over a defensive back. But like, where do you collect your information for what you want?
Just through experience and through research.
Mm-hmm.
It's all research, trial and error research, and just life experiences.
Yeah. Well, I think I've exhausted the main things, and I think you did a great job with it. I think sometimes it's better to be short and sweet rather than to be going rambling on. Listen, you're a positive person, and I think we need role models like you, Vernon, in this world, because it's a tough world out there, and it's nice to have just people with good energy that are also willing to give back. And I don't know if you ever read it, but what you said earlier, Gail Sayers wrote a book called "I Am Third," and I think it was his friend, "Is the Lord is first, my friends and family are second, and I am third." And it seems to me, just meeting you embody a lot of that philosophy. So I thank you
Nice.
for joining me tonight, and I look forward to seeing you grow in the future, and eventually getting a chance to meet your family.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.